We are back. Yeah, we're back. Okay. With that being said, we do offer an apology to you, our listeners, for being a little late, but some things happen, malfunctions from technology, but we are back. Welcome to the All About You show with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Silky Smooth, Daydream.
This is Susan.
Susan, if you recall, was one of our guests once before. So anyway, she has a segment that starts today. But anyway, we'd like to thank you for joining us today, and we ask that you please join in on the conversation, where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversation. Today our topic is Facebook, the new gossip, as well as the dark side of Facebook. You know, 5 years ago, Facebook afforded you exactly what it promised it would: the ability to successfully connect to friends and family worldwide and to help people relate to one another. It affords the dissemination of information. It allows you to express yourself in unique ways. It has created new celebrities. It sponsors and sells products and allows you to like or dislike a post, a comment, a person, or their beliefs. It allows public praise and ridicule. It causes the ability to bully someone without making contact. And hate can be created and exacerbated with just a click. Facebook allows you to put it all out there anytime you want, any way you want. It allows you to bash, discredit, and eviscerate the new boyfriend, or character assassinate your ex's old girlfriend. It allows you to flaunt in the face of a wife the baby just given birth by the side piece. It affords you to show off your gun and rifle collection. It affords you to show off the spoils of war. Facebook affords you to live your life out on Facebook. Is this the real purpose for what it was intended? Facebook seems to me more like a public diary or a journal for most people to play, to wash and dry and air their dirty laundry, or better yet, air somebody else's dirty laundry. It is a bragging forum for the new home, the new car, the new job, or the date that you just met on eHarmony. It encourages you to flaunt your success, your vacations, your meals, your pets, your body, and every aspect of your life. Your business, in other words. Facebook allows us to tell on ourselves, and we have accepted this invitation willingly and willfully. Gone are the days of face-to-face gossip in the parking lot. Gone is the gossiping with the girls and the guys at happy hour, or gossiping on the phone. We have a new way to gossip, and it is Facebook. We now have opened up ourselves and our world to never-ending scrutiny. Clearly, we no longer have to be social to be a gossip or to spread gossip. My opinion, social media is anything but social. It allows you to throw a rock and hide your hand. Let's talk about Facebook, the new gossip.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I think social media has caused us to be even more anti-social.
That's social.
Because we don't know how to communicate.
We don't.
You don't know how to communicate face to face. It's uncomfortable. It's very different when you communicate with a person live than when you're communicating via text. You know, just like a phone call is different from a text. It's like, really, you text me that? Like, you couldn't have called me?
It's going to be personal.
You know? Yeah, people announce their engagements and everything else. It's like, look, I said yes. And it's like, really? You got to put that on Facebook? That's how I find out. Like, I thought we were better than that. I expected a phone call. Or to be told one-on-one, at least.
No, people expect you to find out the way that you do on Facebook.
Yeah. I agree with you on that, because I know someone that got engaged but claimed they were not engaged, and I'm like, well, why was it on Facebook? And I'm like,
they made Facebook official,
and everybody just kind of ate it up. Yeah, okay, well, because it's in print. What's in print is indelible.
That's right, it's there.
That's what you have to think about, and it does take away that face to face, or that touching a person's hand or looking that person in the eye. All of a sudden, you're not so quick to say those ugly things that you're going to say, because you're having to look that person in the eye to say those things.
Or you gotta dodge their swing if you're gonna say what you're gonna say. That's the other thing. You know, you can't just say whatever you want like you can on social media.
You can throw a rock and hide your hand.
Absolutely.
Nobody knows where it came from. Yeah,
exactly.
And you can ruin people with gossip.
Absolutely.
People get brave. People get real brave when they get on social media.
And we talked about that before, how reality TV versus, your reality, and how that has damaged people.
It really has.
But that's pernicious. I mean, destroying a person's reputation, they could end up losing a job.
People don't care
keep
about
them
that.
out of a job.
Sometimes they're doing that
I had 200 likes on my post.
That's right.
Right.
Oh my God.
They're
I got
concerned about
200
the wrong
likes.
thing.
Absolutely.
They're concerned about the wrong thing. That, like you said, that one-on-one. And even when people are getting ready to date, I hear so many stories, and I'm not bashing online dating.
None of us, we believe in it.
But
That's
my
what you want.
thing is, if you have a deeper conversation on Facebook than you can have standing in front of somebody one-on-one,
Something
there's a
something wrong
concern
with that.
there. There's a concern there.
Yeah.
A major concern.
Well,
I
we
mean,
can't-
what did people do before Facebook was around? Facebook wasn't always
They
around.
gossiped in the parking lot. They gossiped by the water cooler. They gossiped.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We gossiped
actually
after
spoke to
school.
each other.
Yeah, right.
It
We
was
actually spoke to
true,
each other.
genuine gossip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was some
It was
purity.
authenticated gossip.
Authenticated. It was some purity to the gossip. We need to
go
go
back
back
to
to
our
the
roots.
let's go back
Yeah,
to our
go back
roots.
to how we really did
Pure
this and
gossip.
meant something. You know, now you can read it and it's very aesthetic. It has no real meaning, but it's vile to someone else. But it's like, oh my gosh, did they really put this here? You know,
Yeah.
I know there was a Facebook post on where some girl, I think she was a college student. She was a white girl. She had a roommate from Jamaica.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
I saw that.
That article,
And,
yes.
yeah, so y'all want to kind of come in on that?
Okay,
What
so
basically-
what had happened was
Yeah, right.
what had happened. So come to find out, this girl, the white college roommate, went on social media, Instagram, and I don't know what other media she used.
You on Facebook?
But she would take pictures and would just show how she was bullying her roommate. She called her the Black Barbie,
Right.
and it was all a racial thing. I mean, there was really no other thing, no indication as to them having issues before. They didn't know each other. They were just randomly picked to be
roommates,
be roommates. And so she would put on social media just the nasty things that she's done. Used feminine products
Yeah.
on her personal property, on her food utensils, and a whole bunch of other nasty stuff.
I mean,
And so,
vile.
so the Black Barbie roommate knew something was going on, and she didn't have any proof until someone else, one of her classmates, said, "Hey, isn't she talking about you? Like, isn't this your stuff?" And that's how she got proof, is because the girl had documented it all on social media, and
That's
then she tried to
my
clean it up.
That's my
Then she
point.
tried to clean it up and say, "Oh, it's just a joke. It was just for this,
The
this,
girl
and
was
that." No, but it's too
hospitalized for
late.
being
Yes.
poisoned, if I'm not mistaken.
Isn't that considered assault?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in
that
my
is
case,
assault.
attempted
It would-
murder at this point.
I'm
You trying to
sorry,
poison someone.
That's to me that should be aggravated assault because you
There
use
you
bodily
go.
fluids.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yes.
You're
yes.
right.
You used bodily fluids. That is aggravated assault.
Absolutely.
So now she's facing a lot of problems, and school, of course, the university got involved and everything, and switched up the dorm situation and all just to begin with. But
And this was precipitated by nothing at all. She just didn't like her.
And who told her that?
And
was
if
gonna
that's
be
the case, if you don't like your roommate,
Then
you
get-
still
then
could go and
change
your
that's
roommate.
right, but instead
Absolutely.
she pursued this. But again, that's an extension of what Facebook can allow and social media can allow, because she documented all of it on Facebook. As a matter of fact, she got
bold enough to do
arrested
it.
Mhm.
because it was on Facebook. And like you said, they tried to back out of it, like, oh no, this was a joke. No,
yeah, I was just doing it for the likes and for
Yeah.
this and that. That's
But
why
see,
she's trying to
again,
clean it up.
talking about likes, that's a whole nother topic when we come back. But more importantly, people do things to be acknowledged by other people.
Right.
And I think with the onset of having brought reality TV to our world, which came from the British, it kind of made everybody be desirous of wanting to be their 15 minutes of fame played out somewhere. So
Right.
social media kind of affords people that
Yeah, it gives
opportunity.
people a
It
platform.
gives you a platform.
And you
got
it's
a
up to
camera.
you what you do with
Right.
it.
You got a camera. You can do all the things you want to do, and you put
You
it
can
out
make
there
an
as many
utter
times.
fool of yourself,
That's what I said.
or you can promote the light instead of the darkness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, either way, everything has a dark side. Everything on earth has a dark
Absolutely.
side, everything has a light side. So you could promote the light, or you can promote the
It
darkness.
depends on who you are.
It depends on who you are. And I've seen people promote the light.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's what we all try to do. So,
Yeah, but that
unfortunately-
doesn't give you as many.
Right.
No,
Right,
it doesn't.
exactly.
You're
You know,
right,
it doesn't create the scandal, so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's normal stuff. I want something.
I want something over the
Over the
top.
top,
I want
yeah.
something that's going to draw attention, because a lot of people do things for mainly publicity. Because even the guy who shot up the church in Texas, he was mad at his mother-in-law. She wasn't even in the damn church.
Mm-mm.
So you go there, you kill
Well,
all
go
these
to
people.
her church.
And wait a minute, it was 400. The town consisted of 400 people. Now you
Everybody
have to
knew
know
everybody.
everybody was kin to each other. You
Absolutely.
have to know. So
Right.
he probably killed some of his own family,
Sure.
in order to do this, trying to kill his mother-in-law who was not at the service that day. And this guy had his guns, his AR-15, and all his rifles and guns and
He was
stuff.
really angry,
But
but how?
but he had
shoot.
all of that on Facebook. That's why I said you can show off your gun collections, you can do whatever you want.
And
And then after the fact, you
Yeah.
reach back and say, oh my gosh, he's got this on Facebook.
Mhm.
Yeah, that could have been prevented.
That could have been prevented.
Absolutely. Because people get an audience that roots them on for all the wrong reasons.
Again, the likes.
Right, and they're under the illusion that, ooh, no one ever has to know I really feel this way. I can make up, some other name, and I can be rooting behind this person.
You can be somebody else.
Doesn't Scripture point to that when the wrong becomes right?
Oh yeah,
there will be a day when wrong will be seen as right.
Good will become
well,
bad.
just like affairs, we're encouraging people in their affairs. We're encouraging people to bring forth children from affairs. I'll never forget what Donald Trump, Marla Maples. She was interviewed by Oprah, and I'm like, so you mean the average person, can they have an affair and get an interview with Oprah?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was all over and they people were celebrating the fact that this woman was a side piece and that his marriage was destroyed. Yeah,
right.
Was destroyed.
Well, look at just like with Princess Di and Prince Charles, right? I mean, he had a side piece. And it was well known.
Camille,
yeah, and that her name, Camille. Yeah, so that was.
And he was very public about that.
Yeah, he had no shame.
Yeah,
no shame at all.
It was clear that Diana was there for procreation only.
Right, because Camilla was a lot older.
Was like, Camilla
she was probably more his age.
Yeah, and I think now she's having some issues, but you can't do wrong and expect your life to go right.
No.
Right.
So she's not doing right.
It all comes back to bite.
It comes back.
The other problem, the other thing that we're creating is we're so used to watching things on our phones and on our tablets and our iPads and everything that when real life does happen, the first thing people are doing is pulling out their phones. Nobody helps.
That's another.
Nobody wants to get involved. It's never their problem until it's their problem.
I was just going to say that Facebook literally changes your relationship with society and with each other, because now you've become so desensitized.
Absolutely.
That I saw on the news the other day, and I rarely watch the news, but when I did turn to it, it happened to have been some guy sucker punching. I guess that's the new thing. You just walk up to people and punch them and knock them out. At any rate, he walked up to this lady. She was very unassuming, doing her thing. We need to get rid of these phones sometimes. You don't need to have your phone on all the time. She wasn't paying attention. Yeah. He walked up on her, kind of threw his leg around and made her fall, and then punched her in the face before she fell. And everybody came and took pictures.
Right, but nobody helped.
Nobody helped her.
Nobody ran after him. Nobody
lifted her off the concrete. They pulled out their phones.
Wow.
So it was all over social media.
Didn't they have it on the news too, where cousins, a cousin shot another cousin in the house, and when the mother heard the shot, she ran to the neighbors, and they showed someone videotaping it. And I was like, okay, so is anyone going to call the police?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like we have created. People don't understand that Facebook has actually changed the neurological function of your brain. Okay, we'll talk about that a little later.
You're right, but Facebook is not on the forefront of my mind to think to even do something like that.
But that's because we weren't raised with Facebook.
Right.
They'd rather share.
We have gotten used to social media, but we weren't raised with social media, and that's what we have to think about. Is now the generation that's going on, they've been raised with this. They've always known Facebook. Facebook didn't come around until right after I graduated from college, because it was like, what's Facebook? What are you talking about? That had just started.
I think MySpace.
MySpace.
Yes, remember MySpace, Black Planet, Latino Planet. We have all of that. That's what originated from. We did all that. And I had a MySpace account.
I was going to say, I didn't. My daughter had one. I was furious. So that's why I said, wasn't MySpace out somewhere in there? I remember she told me one time, you need to stay out of my business. You ain't got no business at 14. You on MySpace. Get off. Yeah. I mean, these kids have access.
I can't stay out of your business if you're posting it.
That's it.
Seriously,
that's my point.
And it throws me for a loop. People will be so angry.
You put it out
People just need to leave me alone, mind their business, and da.
You put it out there.
You put yourself on blast. Why are you upset?
I just said
and it got back to me. I wasn't paying attention. I was in my
Don't be mad at me because I laughed at your post. I was like, that was my reaction. I had a choice.
Into your business.
That's what I told you. This is gossip, and as I said earlier, they invite you to come into all aspects of their business, and so Facebook is allowing us willingly and willfully to do that.
Right.
And because they know now we're in a world of voyeurism where you want to see. Everybody has a camera. You go to every stop sign, there's a camera. I mean, why? What am I doing that's so... Why do you have to?
Because Big Brother is watching. He wants to make sure that
there are other people that he needs to watch.
Well, right.
I'm not doing anything.
The man that just shut up the church.
That's who you need.
You need to watch that guy.
Right. I wonder how the rest of you listeners feel about this. Give us a call here at the studio, 713-789-0096. You can also text if you're not able to call. Text us at 984-664-2638 if you need to remain anonymous. We have no problem with that. We won't put you on blast if you don't want us to. Just let us know. And we'll be back right after the short break.
Okay.
You are listening to The Bridge. Share your opinion by calling 713-789-0096. Stay tuned.
Oh, Yahoo. Yeah, I was gonna comment.
Yeah, okay, somebody commented. I couldn't see it.
What are comments coming down there?
Yahoo people, what do they call it? Didn't they have like a messenger thing too?
Yes. With live with chat messenger.
That's right, that's
Go
right,
with that first.
How long are we on the air for? So I know which one
We started about 12:30 or so.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay. 1:30.
minutes.
I figured it out.
ain't no radios about content, so we can make sure we keep it moving. You relax a little bit there? Like,
Well, you know what?
You like this.
When I heard, when I heard co-host, I was like, oh, okay, co-host. And I'm like,
Now the camera is still on us. Remember that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, we caught doing so many things, you know, before Ellen told us.
I actually thought back to the very first show once I realized that you could still see during the break. So you know how you replay in your mind, you're like, did I do anything crazy? Like, what? I had my
Yeah,
finger
you
on my
gotta think
nose.
about it,
What was
yeah.
I doing during the?
Right.
Oh Lord. I had a mic sense and how to work it.
I go As we are back, this is the second time I've said that, right? And we are back. You're listening to All About You with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Silky Smooth.
And Daydream.
And Susan Mann.
Okay, so we were talking about Facebook actually being the new gossip and how we interject all of our personal moments, you know, memories, everything is on Facebook. I've even seen funeral services.
I have to.
Yes.
I'm like, that's, you know,
What's what I don't get, is it a culture thing? Because I don't get taking pictures at funerals anyway.
I don't get it either, but see,
That I don't
if you
understand.
go back to the beginning, Facebook was originally created in 2004 by Mark Zuckerberg in order for him and his little college friends
Because he was an
meet girls,
introvert.
to meet girls and to create lascivious opportunities for
Right.
himself.
Absolutely.
So that's how it started. So now look at where we are. He was just doing it to meet girls. Now we have our lives, our kids,
Our funerals.
our weddings, our
Babies
baby
born on
birth.
Facebook. Baby births on
people
Facebook.
have actually
Affairs.
died, people have actually died live on Facebook.
Yeah, affairs, quitting,
Died
getting
live.
fired.
Yeah.
I gotta see what you
Died
said.
live.
Can you die live?
Died live. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Janice Seaman chimed in. Thank you for listening,
Thank you,
Janice.
Janice.
And she says, amen, it is true. And that Yahoo was one of the ones also that had a social media.
Right, that's what we're talking about on the break. I think the messenger, the live messenger chat for
That
Yahoo.
was for Yahoo, right?
Yeah, I'm not
That's
right.
right. They still have it,
So
right?
what is
Yeah,
what is
they do.
that?
Well, a lot of times, what I've noticed now with the live messengers, it's used now mainly in the workplace.
Exactly.
You know, just a quick message instead of calling, you know, to the next cubicle or to the next office or whatever. It's just real quick. You throw up the messenger and you send out whatever or ask for something. So you again, you don't have to have
I
contact with
told you
anybody
social media is not
What's the
social.
difference between that and email? I would email.
because this is instant. It pops up
I
on the
would go
screen.
around the
boom,
cubicle and
right
say,
then
hey,
and
can
there.
I borrow your statement if that's what the hell I'm looking for?
I'll be
Right.
honest, when we used it, it was if we saw someone was on the phone and we said,
Or, you
when
know-
you're done, pop by. Because we didn't want to interrupt the phone call.
Right.
It could be,
But-
or you know, the boss man is coming or whatever. You gotta put your sandwich away. It's like, hey, everything. You know, it's kind of like the movie The Devil Wears Prada. Remember,
Yeah.
they warned everyone once they saw her coming out. You know, so it's kind of like that, but it was thrown up
They
on the
would gird their
messengers.
loins.
Yes, yes, gird your loins.
I
And she
remember
was
that.
accused me, wasn't she?
Right.
Wow. Well, you know, again, Facebook has allowed all of us to have relationships long distance, worldwide with our friends and family. But now I think it has manifested into something totally different and it has become a monster in and of itself. And again, I mentioned earlier what Zuckerberg had originally created it for, and now it has taken on a life of its own along with snowballing. Just last week, Sean Parker, who was one of the creators and one of the original members of Facebook, has pretty much made the comment that he thinks that it is not good. That it's not. But he basically,
it's addictive, right?
It's addictive. He also said in his literature that they knew that it would cause whatever it's doing now, causing people to disavow time. People will spend hours on Facebook and not realize it. People will walk to their car, get out of their car with their phone on Facebook. This is how somebody can walk up on you.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're so busy. In other words, Facebook is addictive. They call it face crack. No, seriously.
I believe it.
Face crack.
Makes
Because
sense.
it's like crack. It's like a drug.
Have they done tests on it like that as well?
I don't know, but I got my animal tank.
Yeah, I think there has been some research when they looked into the brain and how they like MRIs and stuff, and they said how people reacted to social media, their accounts and everything. It had the same type of stimulant or reaction as an addict.
Yes, it's dopamine that is released, and it kind of gives you like immediate gratification because, when you go to open your emails and your text and all this other stuff, there's an excitement that comes with doing that.
Sure.
And so that creates, again, some sort of change in the neurological aspect of how your brain works. And so even Parker states that our kids' brains are going to be a little screwed up because, dopamine and the parts of the brain, it has a lot to do with your behavior, your concentration, your decision making, all of the things that young people really need right now because
they don't have.
Because they're indoctrinated into this so early.
Right. And the thing is that my monster Facebook, I don't check it every day. I'm not that caught up in it, but I know it's important because, again, applying for jobs, positions, they're consistently asking for social media, and if you don't have it, they tell you how to set it up. So you can't, it's almost like you can't get around it in certain careers. But I know someone who worked for the government, and they told him he had to get rid of all of his, so he had to get off because he had certain government jobs.
You cannot get the fact.
Only LinkedIn. But that,
you guys know me. You know I'm not a Facebooker. You all know that. I was forced to become a Facebooker because my job, as you said, gave a little seminar. And I was there all wide-eyed, like, what? You really? So I opposed. I raised my hand in the meeting.
Her eyes were like saucers.
No, I raised my hand and I said, this sounds like another job. Because they want you to manage it and do this and include that. I don't do that on my own personal life. So now I'm being forced by society, I think, to have a Facebook page.
Well, OMG, when we first met, I didn't have a Facebook account.
Really?
I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have any of that. I did that because of the work that we were doing. That's the only reason why I got on. Absolutely. That's the only reason why I got on. And everyone was in shock. It was like, oh my God, you actually got a Facebook account. I said, well, I'm doing this for work. That's the only reason. And I would keep it at that because people were like, oh, you never post anything. Because I post it for work, not because I want to put my business out there. Now I'm more comfortable with it. I'll post a little this, a little that, some personal stuff. I know how to, put friends into lists and, this person can see this, but these people can't see that.
That's what I don't know.
I've learned to do that. So yeah, it is very addictive.
She's learned to manage it. Now, same thing with me and Twitter. I didn't have Twitter at first until this show, and I said, we've got to do Twitter. So I had to go and set it up. I wasn't on Twitter, and I only do it for the sake of this show.
Right.
That's it. I don't just put...
Yeah, and now you have to be so careful because like you were talking about jobs, they'll look you up on Facebook. They'll Google you and they want to see what kind of things you're putting on there, what type of person, who you're friends with, because you're supposed to be representing their company.
That's why I didn't want my information out there, but there's really no way to prevent it. And as you just said, there's something called PYMK that Facebook does, and it's called People You Might Know. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the issues that I had with it. Because I know Susan, you're going to ask me, well, Mary, because you know Susan, surely you know Ellen.
Surely you know Jackie.
Yeah,
surely
you
know David.
Jackie.
Not even just that, it's in your phone. So if you have somebody's contact information in your phone, all of a sudden Facebook will grab it.
Exactly right.
Snapchat, Twitter, all of that will grab. Hey, do you want to update your contacts and add everybody on your social media?
That's
no,
exactly right.
No,
it's like a setup. Yeah, so they put it out there, but we don't have to take it.
Correct.
Right, and then they're also getting messages I'm sure you know Marion.
Right.
Her
I'm sure
friends.
they
Exactly.
do.
So people are they're
See,
getting that.
See, I
also.
don't want all that because in my world, if there was someone that I wanted to stay in contact with, trust me, y'all know I talk. I would be talking. I would be
I
talking
like
to that
that
person.
too. I
So
rather
Don't look for me. I'll look for you.
right. Yeah, don't come for me. Yeah, I don't need all that. So, some relationships and on Facebook, you really don't have friends. These are just
these
people. You don't know them. One of these people from your Facebook could walk up on you and you'd never know who they were.
Absolutely.
And say, I'm one of your friends. I'm on Facebook with you. You remember me? I posted this, that.
Actually, a guy approached me at a party
See?
like that. He said, we're on Facebook. And I said, oh, we are. So we did end up meeting in person. I've met a couple of them in person, but it was real funny that they had to say that we're friends on Facebook. And I said, oh.
Well, have y'all noticed, I've noticed with myself that now when I mention people, it's like, oh, this is so-and-so, or I know so-and-so, or, when I'm talking about, when I talk about my friends, that's a very tight
Circle, right.
What the true definition of a friend is.
Mhm.
That's who I call friends. And then I have associates, or I have, a buddy or a homie or whatever. But I find myself saying, oh, a Facebook friend, this and this and that, so people understand
Exactly.
what level we're on. This is where our boundaries are at. We're not cool. You're not coming to the house.
Right.
We're not meeting up for happy hour type of thing. No,
We're not doing
we
any
cool
of
on
that.
Facebook, and that's it. And
And
that's,
some people
that's
don't
as
get
far as we
that
go.
though. Some
Right.
people are so mortally offended when they understand that we're not going to be breaking bread together.
Yeah, right. We're not
we're
that.
very, very.
What about when you remove them?
We're very, on the
Oh,
surface.
wow.
Well, supposedly there's a way. I'm thinking about my etiquette book now because there's a way you're supposed to not deep. What is it? Not unfriend someone?
Yes, unfriend.
Yeah, I just click unfriend.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
People get real.
But see, unfortunately, you can't do real people in your life like that.
No.
And this is
You can't. We're done.
One moment.
yeah, right.
Or kind of like on there, mic's off. You're done. But you have to, and then there's times where you have to block people.
Yes.
Why? I mean, I'm not. What happens that you have to block
Trolling.
What
and
is
stalking.
trolling?
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Well,
Is
we've
that like
talked about this off
stalking?
the air. We've talked about this off the air. I
And
have
I didn't
somebody
get it
from high
then.
school,
I know.
from 20 years ago, who's still all up in my business and trying to get in contact with me. And yes, I did post that on Facebook. When I did end up running into him face to face, and he actually followed me around like a little puppy on a leash. Well, you want to talk to me? We've known each other 20 years. Da 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 da. Baby, we haven't spoken in 20
That's
years.
it.
There's a reason why I
Right.
blocked you on my landline. There's a reason why you don't have my cell number. There's a reason why we're not Facebook friends and I have you blocked.
You should have said, how come you're trying to unblock yourself? See, he's resurrecting from the dead.
Oh, I didn't even give him that. I didn't speak one word to him. I looked at him and walked right past him like he wasn't there. And he was standing right next to me. Seriously, you really not going to talk to me? I wouldn't even look at him.
See, you can unfriend
People can't
someone,
get-
and they can have an attitude about
Oh,
it. You
many
don't know
times.
who
That's
people
happening.
are nowadays.
I thought that we were.
Yeah, you don't know people's
You
level
don't
of
know-
crazy
you
because
don't
we don't
know.
have personal. If you meet someone face to face, you get a vibe off of them. You feel
Right.
their
You
energy.
feel their right.
We're I know we're that kind of people. We
Right.
believe in, okay, well, I kind of feel where they're coming from. Okay, well, I feel like we click. We do well together.
Yeah.
You can't do that on social media.
Absolutely not.
It's harder to do that. Now, there's been times where I have been like, this person's kind of weird. They're like, I'm not feeling good about this profile. I'm going to delete or deny this friend
So
request.
what happens that I hate to seem like I don't know, but I don't. But what happens when, like you just said, somebody sent you something and it sounds weird? What is a weird Facebook post? What is weird?
When you look at their profile, you've been a Facebook user for how many years, but you only have 13 friends. It looks foreign.
Okay.
These look like Photoshop.
Okay, that's what I'm
Absolutely.
okay.
Just
Absolutely.
weird.
You have strange pictures. Things
Yeah.
look obscure.
It's not a real profile picture.
Yeah.
It's just an image of something. So it's like, okay,
Right. It's not
no.
real.
And we have no mutual friends. Why are you contacting me?
Yeah,
And
right.
sometimes you have
I'm
to
getting a
scroll
lot
down
of that.
too in order to actually
Yes.
see it because they've learned that and they will plant a few halfway decent pictures up top and you scroll down and you're like, oh, hang on, that's not
Right.
something I
Yeah,
want to
like
have
this
on
is
my
weird.
feed.
Now, I am getting approached from strangers from around the world, or even in this country, and people I've never met. I'm like, how are you finding me, and why are you sending me a friend request?
Mhm.
Yeah, just
Same thing
I've
happened
got
to
a
me.
whole collection
Yeah.
of people like that. I'm like, do you just sit around looking for people to find on Facebook? That's what it gives me the impression. Now that makes me think you're weird.
Well, people want,
You
people
have
want
to
the
do that.
numbers. They want the numbers, whatever that means for likes and all of that. They want the numbers.
And I've got offers for dates. I still
yes.
get a lot of that.
Yeah.
And unsolicited pics. We've talked about that too. We were
Yes.
talking about that earlier.
Unsolicited images, yes.
Yeah,
And you know the kind.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey, girl, make
Yeah,
it
but I've had people, guys, do that. You know, hey, you want to meet up? You're pretty. You look cute. Let's meet up. I'm clean. I'm da da da. I'm like, really? You don't know me, and you really just solicited yourself. And if, trust me. You look pretty. You look like you're clean. What does that
my
You
mean?
look like you're
Yes,
clean.
yes,
Okay.
I've had that. This was with MySpace. This was before Facebook. So even with MySpace,
They were crazy.
That is
yeah,
creepy.
getting all kinds of weird
See,
stuff.
that's what
It's
I'm
like,
afraid of.
what?
There's too many people out there that you don't know about having access to you.
Mhm.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Yeah,
not
see,
do
I
all
never
that.
had MySpace. I
I
knew
got
people
it.
that
I
did.
did. It was cool. You put your picture, your background, you had your music going on. So when people go to your page, you're like, oh my God, her great list and her top 5 friends. all of that. You did all of that.
Yeah, I was a mom. I had to regulate that. I couldn't do all that. But I was
And then
regulating
you
that.
got told to get out their business.
Get out of my
That's-
business. What you doing about? You ain't got no business.
You're a child. I am.
Yeah,
You
I
are
am.
my
You are
business.
my business.
Right. I'm your business.
Also, didn't they do a news report where one of the creators of one of these, or someone that's behind the scenes, they did a study to see what stimulates people to make them check Facebook, to make them check any of the social media sites.
Mhm.
And it was kind of spooky because they know what, they're digging into our brains. They know what makes us
They
tick.
do. I told absolutely.
So they know what to put on Facebook. And
Absolutely.
in the
They
feed
track
to
everything
make
that you do.
And they said they tested the anxiety level when they told people to flip their phones over. And what they do is they'd send them a text message, and they had all these electrodes
Yeah.
hooked up to you, and they could see where your heart rate would go up.
I
And they
just-
look at them like, oh, you need to get that, don't you? You feel like you need to get
I
that?
told you there's an excitement. As I mentioned earlier about dopamine, it is a key player in the brain system concerned with reward-driven learning. It also has many functions in the brain, including roles in behavior, cognition, voluntary movement, motivation, punishment and reward, sleep, dreaming, mood. I mean, this dopamine affects a lot of what's going on in your brain, and Facebook alters that.
See, that's
So see,
not,
that's
yeah,
scary.
that's
Yeah, so
not
it-
the plan.
But nobody's,
I-
well,
you
we don't
know,
know if that's
Right.
plan or not, but.
That's not what I had
Because
in
we're
mind.
far cry from a young college student trying to meet a girl.
Right, right. And what
Yeah.
does it mean for 20 years from
Yeah.
now? I mean, we don't know what that's going to do overall 20 years from now. What will that have done to our brains? How will we feel about
Made
things?
into mush.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is dumbing us down. Everything is, from everything else that we're doing. But since we're also going to talk about a little bit about Facebook's dark side, I also read somewhere that there is a shadow profile.
I think I've heard that somewhere.
So
I don't know a lot about
Yeah,
it, but I
there
think
is-
I heard that as well.
basically, Facebook has like we have a shadow
Well,
government.
well,
we
they
have a
track
shadow-
everything. Absolutely. So because it's weird, there's plenty of times where I've been, on the internet looking at something else or whatever, and then I go into Facebook and all of a sudden there's sponsored ads,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, how did they know I was just looking at it? Because they're tracking every single thing
Right.
that goes on in your phone, every like, every click, every website that you're going to. They're all connected,
And
in
they're
some way,
going
and that's
by
why
your
there's
age,
constant
too.
updates.
So this is
Those
all-
ads are age appropriate.
I
if you
thought one
notice.
time it was
Yeah.
just about money, but I think it's bigger than that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
way bigger than money.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, again, it's just another way to keep us as sheeple, and Big Brother's watching.
Mhm.
We let it happen.
Like I said, willfully and willingly, so we can't really
Right.
complain about any of
Well,
it.
that's also the fine print that there's always fine print when you load things for the first time or when you sign up for the first time. Well, they always say in the fine print, they might let you know that they're going to do this.
But it's not
And
something
who
that you're
reads the
focusing
fine
on. Nobody
print?
reads that.
Because we're so
OMG
accustomed
does.
to
Yeah.
No, seriously, because you came in one day and you said that. Wait a minute, I just got this update,
I
and
sure
this
did.
is what. And you sent us a screenshot
I did.
of everything that
Wow.
had in there, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, this was for for bank papers, and they wanted government monitoring information, and I was like, who's government monitoring me? I mean, so
Right.
I don't know if it's just me per se, because I'm that that conspiracy person. Not paranoid, guys, just heightened awareness. Heightened awareness. Girl gotta stay forever vigilant. Okay, you just gotta stay forever vigilant. But at any rate, those things stand out to me.
Mhm.
And for the average person, you'll just glaze over it. But there's something going on that we need to
And the,
awaken to.
right, and the problem is, if you don't accept that update, you can't utilize what you need to use. You
It's
can't use that app.
punishment. It's punishment.
You're right.
It's
Right.
punishment.
It's like,
It's
well, you have no choice but to say yes
Right.
if you want to continue to use this.
and so it's control.
Absolutely.
No matter how
Strong
you-
arming.
Yeah.
Especially like the GPS systems.
Yeah.
You have to accept the fact that they are going to maybe just track you, you know, silky smooths at
Yeah.
home,
The areas that you
eating
frequent.
grapes,
Yeah.
you know, or
They
something
do know
like
what's
that.
going on.
Yeah.
You know, because years
Oh, yeah.
ago they said that while you be watching
Silky's
TV,
in the shower.
They're watching
TV
you.
be watching you.
Yeah.
So you're not alone when you're at home alone.
I know, and then I do get creeped out.
Well, you have to think about how many times people have hacked into webcams and everything
That's what
else.
I'm talking
And I
about.
remember
I cover mine now for that reason.
I
This
do
guy
too.
really
See,
spooked me about
we
that.
had laptops when I worked for the county. We had laptops and they had all that, and you know it was locked. You had a finger scan, things like that, because you know it was a lot of sensitive information that we were carrying and having with us. So I got that. I understood that point of it. But the webcam, it's just like I disabled it and I covered it up, and people, my coworkers were just like, "Are you serious? You really covered it up with the?" Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Because it's a
see.
VPN. They can go in whenever we have technical issues. What happens? We call the main building downtown,
Absolutely.
and they say, okay, hold on, what's your IP, this and that, and then they're in there. So if they can do that when I'm asking them to, that means they can do that when I'm not asking them
Yeah,
to.
they can remotely shadow you, which is the same.
Yeah,
thing
it's like
as
don't worry
Facebook.
about what I'm doing in my private office.
Yeah, but
Right.
there is a
So if you
shadow.
see that light, this guy told me, if you ever see the light on your camera, cover it up because that means someone's hacked in and you're watching. And he scared me so bad, I just took a card and covered it up.
Yeah.
So
I
I had it taped over, and it just
Taped
not
over.
only did I disable it, but I also had
Yeah.
it taped
Well,
over just
see,
in
just
case.
in case.
Is that paranoia, ladies? What is that?
That's
the-
Is
I
that
am awareness
awareness?
days
That's right.
right now.
You're not gonna be trying to blackmail me with
Okay.
you know with these pictures
saw
and
you in the
I saw
shower.
you with well hey, good for you.
That's like the smart homes.
You're
too.
welcome,
They said
then.
about the smart homes because everything is electronic in smart
Well,
homes.
see, smartphones are smart because they're making us stupid. That's why they're smart. They're smarter than us now, and so when you are without that, you feel hopeless. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have my phone.
Right.
I can't call anybody. As a kid, and even through adult life, and even now, I remember phone numbers, pretty much.
Wow.
And so I tried to write some of them down on pen and paper because I'm an ex-school teacher, so pen and paper means something to me.
Mhm.
This other stuff, this phones, technology, I'm not up for
Well,
that.
but that's like in the homes. My husband does wiring, and he's told me that he's had to put the iPads in the walls,
Mhm.
and it turns on people's lights and TVs and all
Yeah,
of
so
that.
I'm at home. I
We're
can go ahead and
lazy.
make it comfortable, or
We're
I'm out of town.
lazy.
I forgot to do this. Let me just do everything in my phone.
But it's
Convenience.
convenience, but it's also making you dumb down. It's
Mhm.
making you not think about the things in your life that are important. Again, it can do all that, but if you left a pot on the stove, can it do anything about that? That's
Can
just
somebody
data.
hack in? I'm worried about
If you have an
somebody
electrical
hacking in.
stove,
I'm
yeah,
just saying,
you can
if
put the
it's
app like, hey, turn the stove off. But
Yeah.
if, you know, I like gas because like during
I'm just
Harvey
saying,
when all that was
that's
going
what I'm
on,
saying. You can't.
There
all
you
these
go.
people, well, we don't have the baby, we got propane, we good.
Okay, we're good.
We're just fine.
That's what I
Okay.
mean. It's something when you would really need to have access to turning off and turning on. You know, I remember years ago when LoJack and all that stuff came out, everybody was all excited. Oh, if I lock my keys in my car, I can call them. I'm like, have you ever thought about the fact that if they can
Someone can hack
if
into
they
it.
can unlock your car, they
What?
can lock you in your car?
There's a movie. She was a government agent. It's with
You're
Jodie Foster,
right.
wasn't it? Was it
Oh my
was it
goodness.
Panic Room
Yes.
or so? Is that
Anyone?
she was? She was. It wasn't Jodie Foster. It was. I forget what other actress. Awesome actress, but she was a government agent, and she was going home, and she had OnStar and all this other stuff, but somebody hacked into it. And they disabled her
That sounds like
vehicle.
an
So when she
Angelina
was trying to
Jolie.
get out,
Mhm.
but it wasn't an
Uh-huh.
Angelina
That
Jolie.
sounds
It
like what
wasn't.
she
No,
was
I
talking
can
about.
see the actress.
I can
I can
too.
see her, but I can't remember what her
Okay,
name
but
is.
we can't
But it's
see
an
her.
older movie. No, but it has to do with that.
You can't get in here.
See, she was, it worked to her convenience until they were hacked
Mm-hmm.
and they disabled her vehicle, and so she didn't know who she could and could not trust.
Yeah.
And there was nothing she could do. She got locked in her vehicle. She
That's
had,
what I-
someone was trying to kill her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah. See, again, all of this stuff comes to you in movies and stuff like that, and so, but it's real.
It's
and
absolutely
it's kind
real.
of desensitizing you, just like when somebody gets knocked out in the middle of the street and nobody rushes to
And a
that
man
person.
knocking
Nobody
out a
rushes-
woman.
and nobody
at that.
rushes to
and
that
nobody's
person.
horrified at that. Nobody.
nobody-
Nobody's offended. It's like okay, it's like everyday
And
life.
it's just some random guy knocking out a random
Uh-huh.
woman.
Oh yeah, they
You
do
guys
it.
have heard about it, right?
Oh yeah, I've seen them with an elderly gentleman, and they ended up. I think he ended up dying
Mm.
because
Oh,
they
wow.
knocked him out. Of course, he's elderly. He falls to the ground. He hits his
His
head.
Oh,
And they thought, at first they thought it was funny, but that's how they got caught. Because they thought it was funny. They posted it.
See again, here we go.
That's how they got caught.
good. I'm glad they got
Yeah, it was a mess. It was just a mess. It
I
was
just
so
don't
sad.
understand, and it has to be for a gang affiliation or something, because I can't imagine what would you get out of walking up to a woman and just or a man and just knocking them. I mean, cold cocking them, knocking
Because
them
you're trying to
straight
go
out.
viral. You're trying to be on World Star Hip Hop. That's
See,
why.
again,
That's what it is.
World star.
Everyone, seriously, everyone wants to be
And that's
viral.
what you have
Everybody
to do.
wants to be that
That's what I
person.
said. Reality show has caused everyone to be caught up in being somebody.
Insta famous.
Mm-hmm.
But look at what you want to be famous for. You know, you want to be famous for doing something that
Yeah, that's
totally against.
pernicious or harmful.
But that's because they have no foundation. They weren't raised.
But that's the generation we're leaving.
Yeah, I
this
would.
world to.
Yeah, you. It's even hard to say now with anybody in their right mind. No, now it's not.
No.
It's not that way anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we were raised. You don't do this. You don't do that. You treat people this way. You don't treat people that way. So now social media and everybody else is raising them, and it's okay. They were never.
Courts
Obviously,
and
there's nobody at home to tell them
To
this
tell
is
them
wrong. You don't do
Right.
this.
Yes. Exactly.
It's not cute.
So like I said, we have generations of kids coming up now that are very desensitized. They could care less about you. You know, when I pull
And
into
full of
my
ADD
driveway.
and ADHD
Yeah.
because we've constantly had something stimulating us from the
yeah.
very beginning
Well, that's what I said. The
that we don't
dopamine
know what to.
The dopamine kicks in and it's pleasurable like sex or like anything else you enjoy doing, and you can't. So now you have no ability to have gratification come later. Everything has to be like, I want it now.
now.
And then you have this phantom phone thing where you think, because you're so used to checking your phone, you know, you go look over to your left because you think your phone is texting.
Now, I have
We're in your
done that.
pocket.
I have
That
done that.
fan vibrated. I'm like, oh my! It vibrated, and it's like, there was nothing there because I had my pocket. It was
Yes,
just,
you know, so it's just, we get
I'm
so...
guilty of that.
I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah, you just go in, nobody called it. And then it's just amazing that we've gotten so dependent on such a
Yes,
small...
just checking your phone.
See, I watch Star Trek every night. I go from Voyager to Deep Space Nine to Next Generation. You know, I watch all of them. And I watch it because it was a precursor to what we're dealing with now.
Sure is.
I mean, Captain Spark and all them, they had cell phones, little Motorola flip phones back then. You know?
Right, they were communicating
They-
with each
oh,
other.
If
Their
you recall,
communication
even
device.
Tarzan, even in the Tarzan movie, there was a phone. The guy who
The
white,
satellite.
the white man
Was.
who always drove the Range Rover.
He
he had a phone.
He sure did.
It's a
I
satellite
watched it.
phone, right? Something.
He had a
Yeah.
phone. You know, so all of this stuff has been around, and the reason we have it now is because they have mastered how to hack into it. They've mastered how to monitor it. They have mastered all about you. So now, you know, our lives have become on full circle, full screen.
All right. Really quickly, thank you to listeners on our live Facebook feed. Thank you, Karina. She says Facebook is the devil. Great topic, ladies. We agree.
Yeah, it
Totally agree.
absolutely
Thank you for
is,
listening.
You know,
It's
so-
raising our babies. That's what's bad too. It's raising our
But we're
babies.
allowing that to happen.
You're right.
Like I
you're
was
right.
so against my niece having an iPad, but I get that she needed to be able to be on the same level as everyone else in her class, you know, because
Oh, yeah.
that would have hurt her. Not being technically savvy at this age would have hurt her.
Well, see, that's
You
what
know,
they're
but-
counting on. This
Yeah,
is how
so-
this is how they did
So
this.
now it's you know, my mom makes sure that she is very much monitored. Okay, you only have this amount of time total
Right.
that you're going to be on there, but you know this and this and that
With
has to happen
boundaries,
first,
with
right? You know,
boundaries.
homework, this, and you're, you know, and once we say you're off, you're off. But I was totally against her having it because I'm, y'all know me. I've said that from day one. Back to basics.
That's it. Fundamental.
We just need to
basics.
go back to basics. If we can start off
We
there,
can't go back.
we'll be fine.
The only thing that will
You know?
cause us to go back is if all the electricity went out and you had to. Wasn't there a
It's
movie
by
years ago
force.
called
Mm-hmm.
That's by force.
Revolution? It would have to be by force
Oh, yeah.
Right.
to cause us to go back. To,
And think about how people are going to panic though. Because think about how you feel when
they
you forget
will.
your phone at
See,
home.
I don't. I
Or
keep
my
running.
phone breaks.
I
I've broken, I don't know how many phones. I've gone through 4 phones in 1 year. You know, and I was just like, oh yes, broke it, dropped it, lost
keep
it.
dropping the phone. I've heard
You
people
know?
dropping in the toilet. Who takes their phone to the toilet?
Well, it was in your pocket.
See, everybody's hand is up. You see, this everybody's hand is up but mine.
You know, and then with work,
And
I put a
then
lot of things in my
goes
back
up to the
pocket, so I forget. I'm hurrying up and trying to go, and I
See,
forget.
again, the phone has you so excited. This is the dopamine.
Well, too, I also have was the Kindle, so sometimes I'll have it on and I'll be
At
reading.
least you're reading, like I'm reading a
reading.
I'm reading a book. You know, Netflix. I take my tablet. I'm like, oh look, I got one of
read
this
on my
episode. Keep going.
tablet. Yeah, I do. But that phone can flip.
at any given time. But guys, we gotta go to break. We'll be right back.
Who takes their phone to the restroom? Who doesn't? I don't. So you just sit there. You sit there and you just sit there.
I sit there. I read my spiritual stuff.
I'm having a conversation.
By calling.
I have some reading that's right behind
Matter of fact, this morning I got a phone
I
call.
read my stuff.
And no lie, this is my response.
Well, people do it in the public restrooms because you're in the bathroom and you hear people having a conversation. I said, I'm about to flush this toilet
Now, see,
and
that
mess
is
with your
unnecessary.
conversation.
I do not want to hear
See,
you talking while I'm doing
it
my
was
business.
10:14 and I got a phone call. And what was my response to her?
Wait a minute, let me see this. What's up?
Because she called, I didn't answer her call. But that
Taking it. Oh, okay.
that's what I wrote to her right here.
Taking
That was this morning.
She's just taking a shit.
Oh, what's up? You called, I didn't answer. What's up? I'm trying to relax.
I got business.
And
I
I
got business.
verbalized it. Okay, okay.
I got business. Oh, my husband and I are really bad for that. So it's been the face. We actually do the messenger.
The FaceTime and all that. Oh.
And I was like, never mind. I see where you are.
Never
She's
mind.
like, what?
I've done that to one of my buddies because he didn't believe me. And because he always FaceTime, I'm like, dude, why are you always FaceTime? Because I miss you, Carolyn. You know, y'all miss me,
No,
whatever.
we're good. Look, we're good.
And I'm like, no, I'm okay.
I
So he's
said,
like,
we're
oh,
good.
what you doing? I'm like, no, dude, I'm in the restroom. So then I answer his FaceTime, I'm like, I told you. He's like, oh, well, never mind.
Okay, well, I told you that.
I kept telling
To
you.
be honest.
I told you where I was.
I was like, I was trying to be, polite
Can you
and
just
proper
give me a
about it.
minute?
A little
Jeez.
classy.
There's no classy way to do this. You just gotta do it.
Right.
You gotta make. Parker's behind me, so make sure I let her talk.
What, at 15 after? When did we start? I didn't see what time we started.
12:30. We gotta get off the air at 12:30. At 1:30.
Oh, 1:30. Okay, well then at 15 after, I guess we need to come back with Susan to
Yeah.
do her part
Okay.
for the rest of the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna bring up just two more things about Facebook to keep us going.
Right, and then we go right into Susan. Yes, the principal.
You're listening to All About You with OMG and Friends, where we are continuing a conversation about Facebook. Having ranged from gossip to dark side to, I have another point I want to bring up about Facebook in a minute, but through some research, it basically, most people are starting to feel now that Facebook is the world's biggest waste of time. You know, people don't value time. Time is very important. You can never get it back, and we exude a lot of it in front of a lighted screen. You know, so I don't know how we can allow something like that to kind of take over our lives, but, you know, again, it's being viewed as the world's biggest waste of time.
Yeah, because everybody's doing it.
And you're not being productive. And another thing is, researchers said that a real social network wouldn't be viral. It would involve real people meeting in a real tangible brick and mortar building or outdoor place where they might have foods, drink, and conversation. That would be real. What's not real is an online place where there's no exclusivity or discernment about who gets in, and all manner of riffraff voicing their opinions, exchanging links to news reports, photos of kittens playing with strings and comic books, and just the whole thing. So it's mindless, And again, like I said, basically what this is saying, I just verbalize it a different way. Social media is not social. So he's like saying this is not a real social network. A social network would be like what we have here.
Yeah, this right now is the social
Right here is a
network,
social network. We meet up once a week here. We communicate in between, but
Right.
this is a social network. We're not. We do all the other stuff, the electronic stuff during the week, but we still get to do eye to eye, face to face.
Right, but we invite the world into our sphere
Right.
here. So I wonder what does the person say about that? That part of it, that's the part that's not real, because we are real people. We're live, we're here every Tuesday, we get together and we do have these conversations. However, we do invite the world into our sphere.
Oh, we do, but that's with limited and with boundaries. We're not inviting them to how we live our lives. Or
Well,
how we-
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not- I'm
Yeah,
not
we don't
on-
have a
I'm not
camera
on-
crew.
Yeah, I'm not on
We're
my
a GoPro
GoPro
everywhere we
Yeah.
go. And be like, hey,
Yeah,
that's my life.
Once the show is over, you see
Yeah,
next
but- yeah.
week. You're not going to
Yeah.
see what happens after the
Right,
show
I
is
don't
over.
take pictures, of myself sweating on both legs, hair stuck to the side of my face. I don't do that.
I know we'll do that. And she said, "Come on, everybody, send your
It
pictures."
doesn't
I
count
said,
if you don't check in and you don't prove.
I
It
know,
doesn't count.
and then I have this thing where people are following me. I'm like, where are we going? I don't need me following. Where are we going? I don't know. It scares me sometimes.
Like, you
because-
want me to lead you? Okay.
Yeah, well, come on. That's not for you. But also, guys, what Facebook released this week was wanting to know or receive your naked pictures. Are y'all familiar with that?
No.
Oh my gosh, pull that up, please.
Wait,
Facebook
Facebook?
is asking for your naked pictures. The reason they're asking,
They already got them. They have access to your phone. So
they're
everything you're sending.
They're asking for them to listen to this. They're asking for them to prevent revenge porn.
Shut up.
Pull
So
it
they're gonna.
up.
So I'm just supposed to send them to you. Be like, oh, well, here's all of them.
Pull it up. I'm telling you.
Please.
You are kidding.
No.
So,
Which
That is crazy.
the site is ridiculed for asking users to submit their sexy snaps in an attempt to stop jilted lovers from posting revenge porn on the social media. Facebook is testing image recognition technology to identify revenge porn. Users are being asked to send sexy snaps to themselves on Messenger. Facebook will create a digital footprint or link at that specific image. If anyone tries to upload it in the future, it will be automatically deleted. But Facebook employees will be first to view your identity.
Get out of here. Oh,
This is
okay.
real.
Because I'm that dumb. Well, people are that dumb. But
And I read,
please.
as I read
That
further,
is so
as I
insulting.
read further, you cannot. I think if you turn in some pictures, and,
What if
and
it's
they
a
have
different
those,
picture?
that's my point. A different picture, you'd have to go through the process again.
Oh,
So a
for
different
crying
picture
out
could get
loud.
in on revenge porn
so
because
if
you don't have it
you're
registered.
So basically, just take your nudes with one phone, people. Okay, take it with one phone.
so if you're in coital engagement with someone, they're filming it or something unbeknownst to you, and they upload that. Just your image is not going to connect that's you to delete it. That's a whole new. That's a
I
whole
don't
new
even know why
picture, whole
Facebook
new
needs
image.
face recognition. Why do you need all that?
Yeah,
Just like iPhone.
Well,
Same
my
thing, the
phone,
thumbprints and the face
why
recognition. I
do you
have
need-
disabled
why
all
do you-
that.
Yeah, why do you need all that?
GPS has my fingerprints. We good. You don't need them anywhere else. Seriously.
I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
It comes to me
Passport
every
and
now
all that.
and then. I do have my
I've
thumb.
Nope. I disabled all that. I
Well,
don't use Siri. I
This
don't.
is like being arrested without having been arrested. You still
We're
got your
volunteering.
thumbprint. Yeah, I got everything they have given to us. Facebook, there it is.
Oh my
There
goodness.
it
It's
is
in
live.
Australia. Yeah, it's behind us on the screen for those who
Facebook
can see it.
asks users for a nude photos
Do y'all
in
believe
project to combat
that? Now you
revenge
really
porn.
have to be out of your mind to send your pictures to Facebook.
Again, somebody will submit another picture. I mean, if
This started
if I'm
out with a
sending you
man
nude-
meeting girls.
Oh
For
my
the
First of all,
opportunity.
That's what's wrong with people. Y'all take these nudes all willy nilly and send them to whoever and however.
You don't.
And
right.
you don't. That's
don't
not
know.
for everybody.
Right.
No.
And you don't know where it
You need to
goes.
be very selective about what you do.
That's exactly right.
See?
But I would suggest that.
So you gotta have rules.
Yeah, that you not send your
Polaroid.
pictures
Back to
out.
old school.
No, not even no pictures, no
If you're gonna
videos,
take
no,
it.
no. We don't. None of this. No face shots, no
But you know
tattoos.
what?
No, we're not.
I guarantee you, as sure as we all sit here, Facebook will get more than enough copies of
Oh,
their
absolutely.
photos.
Oh, absolutely. Some
Right.
people are going to be eager just because.
Oh, they'll be
they're-
eager, right? Yeah, they'll do it just for that purpose. But
Mhm.
at any rate, again, Facebook is your call, it's your choice. But at this particular time, I think I'd like to introduce, or reintroduce actually, Susan Ned. She's going to be joining us once a month and giving us tips on remaining healthy. She is our wellness warrior for All About You show. This goes to show how much we really care about you. This show is about you. So we're going to have Susan give us some tips.
Talking about some tips
Yeah.
to prevent the holiday hips.
Okay, okay.
to prevent holiday
next
hips.
week.
Oh
How much you
my!
ready?
Starts next
That was a
week,
good segue, right?
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving is in a week and a
Yes,
half.
It's
Yeah.
already wow.
It's around the corner, and I'll make it very quick too because I have 5 tips. But first of all, just to let you know, ABCNewsGo.com says that we will consume 3,000 calories
Oh.
on the Thanksgiving dinner, just the dinner. That's it, just the dinner. And by the time you add drinks, dessert, appetizers, it could go as high as 4,500
I
calories.
can believe that.
And that's just for that. That's not counting anything else you may do during the day. So with that being said, that lends ourselves to quadrupling the possibility, if you already have a risk factor for a heart attack. You know, I guess if I already had one, they probably consider that I still have a risk factor. But that's the reason why this became very prevalent, you know, in my thinking, because I'm thinking to myself, all these people, we're all getting together, people are stressing out, people are cooking all these foods, not necessarily the healthiest for us.
Absolutely.
So, what do? What can we try to do at least? You know, nobody's perfect. I always say perfection is a myth. One of the things is eat during the day. I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes when I know I'm about to have something really, really good, I might not eat all day because I'm saving up for the mac and cheese. I'm saving up for the stuffing.
I'm saving up for my 3 plates.
Calories.
That's me on Thanksgiving. I'll starve all day long because I know.
Well, see, that only makes you ravenous.
There we go.
I learned that the hard way. I know about that.
I'd be happy with my 3 plates though.
and it messes with your metabolism. It slows. It's like wow, 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 wow. Because now it's like, oh my goodness, let me hang on to every calorie you've had, all 3 plates.
Oh no!
Yes,
that's not a good idea.
Yeah, right. So it slows everything down. So that's the number one. And number 2, let's walk it out. Because a lot of times, what do we do once we finish eating?
We lean back in the closest
chair. Take a nap. I'm tired.
Yeah, go to sleep.
I'm fat full.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. I didn't take a nap.
The turkey is doing what the turkey was built to do.
Well, you know, turkey also has something in it. Tetra, what is it? Y'all know what it's called?
It makes you sleepy.
It makes you sleepy.
It does.
I can't think of the word.
So I can't even right. And I was going to look that up too. But it does what it's built to do. You know, it kind of makes you sleepy. So that now you're sitting there full of food. Your poor body's trying to digest.
And walking it out is the furthest thing from you.
Exactly. But here's the thing. What about if you know how the kids are usually in the other room and they're like running all over your neck? Okay, so you with the kids, with me, mom, papa, you take a stroll. The kids are going to run up and down the block.
Yeah,
but you take a stroll. And even in doing that, you're still getting your body moving. You're still letting it move through your body, getting that digestion to start instead of just kind of sitting there stagnant. So let's kind of walk it out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, portion control. 3 small plates.
Oh, that's going out of the window for the holidays.
But the thing is,
they
it's
have
possible.
All rules are off.
Because you're mentally.
You're done. You're waiting on dressing, and nobody's thinking about portion.
But you be mindful.
You should
be mindful. Think about what that thing is, whether it be the mac and cheese, whether it be the peach cobbler, whether it be. Think about that thing you want the most.
I'm a stuffing girl. I like stuffing.
I like stuffing.
I used to be that mac and cheese girl.
Yeah, well, yeah.
My cousin, she could put a toe in some mac and cheese. You all say that? Is it only black people say put your toe, put your foot in it?
Oh yeah, we say that. Black kids, yeah, you put your foot in.
My cousin put her foot in it. And also, I call it the 20-minute wait rule. So in between plates.
She's not hearing it. She's not hearing it. Don't even address it.
Yeah, in my walk, I'll park in the furthest spot in the parking lot as I'm walking up to the bar afterwards because, you know, because then that's what you do. Then you meet up with your friends. At least that's what I do. We meet up with my friends that did all the family thing in everybody's house and stuff. We'll meet up later on to have a drink at the bar and go hang out because we've been with family all day.
Yeah.
But see, that helps. That at least helps. You're doing something. Yeah, you're doing something. You're not laid out.
The 3 plates, you got to work that off.
Yeah.
I'll park at the end of the parking lot, and that'll be my walk.
And that's enough.
Okay, well that's.
Is anybody getting a dance on? Because that's the ultimate right there.
Oh, probably not. I'd be like, oh, I'm full. I'm just gonna sit here,
right?
Like my stomach hurts. I'm
No,
gonna
go
sit here.
somewhere where there's music and dancing, and then you could get your groove on the dance floor, and that would help. You guys like to dance.
To do that, yeah.
When was the last time we all danced?
No,
Isn't there a song you can either sit it out or dance?
Well, I know I did for sure Friday, the Astros Day Parade.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because then we just bar hopped and had a great time. Just day drinking. Yeah. I was sweating. It was hot that day too, so that counts. We were walking through downtown to the parade. We walked back through.
That's good exercise.
So we did well. We did well that day.
And then we're going to savor the flavor, okay? Take your time to chew.
Yes.
Put your fork down. Let it marinate.
Have a conversation.
Have a conversation.
Oh,
Visit with your people.
Great. Nobody's doing that, friend.
I tend to do that and get full, and I never get to finish my plate because I want to converse with the person that's next to me, or I want to connect with you. So I end up wasting food.
No, tell them where.
Well, right, I have to get Tupperware because I'm having this conversation and you do end up getting full.
Oh yeah.
And then
your brain
then
tells
your
you
plate's
full.
cold.
But
And my plate's cold and I don't finish
is
it.
a time that you don't, even if you finish your plate, an hour later you're still going back into the kitchen.
Because it's still there.
Because you're still there.
Because
So
you're
you're
smelling it,
exactly.
picking
So
off
the
of
food-
it.
yeah, so
It's
the food-
enticing all the senses.
It's still there, right?
Right.
But at least get the juices flowing. Chew. Give your brain an opportunity, and take your to-go plate. Drink responsibly. That's more. That's bigger than just the calories, people.
Yes.
Just calories. Because more accidents happen during that timeline
Right.
than any other time of the year. Oh yeah, they have a
I
lot of
didn't know that.
accidents reported during the holiday season because people are social drinking, and they tend to social drink more. So you would think eating more that it would help, but
Yeah,
it
if
does
it's
not.
stomach, that would help
you
out
be
a lot.
full, right?
You would think. You would think. You would think.
But it's also a way to overindulge because in your mind you're like, oh, well, I ate plenty, so I'm good on the drinking, and you don't realize, wait, I hit my limit really fast.
Exactly. Now, bonus. This is my bonus. Number 6. The stress levels. Work on that prior to. Because a lot of times people get really, really jittery, bent out of shape because they know the holidays are coming, relatives,
Everybody
friends.
does, yeah.
And that also makes people overeat. And it makes them put their workouts by the sideline because they're just too busy freaking out. Oh, is my house right? Do I have the right decorations?
Oh, wow.
This and that.
Is so-and-so going to come, and what's she going to say about this and that?
Exactly.
And-
You gotta check Facebook for the answers. Is she coming? It's on Facebook.
See, exactly. So you do what you can do. Do what you can do to help your body, and know that about 5 pounds can be gained between Thanksgiving and New Year's, which doesn't sound like a lot to
Wow.
gain.
That's hard to
No,
take
So
off.
you're trying
Yeah.
to lose it.
5 pounds is hard to take off. Trust me, I've been trying to lose it for 20 years. 5 pounds don't move.
It likes you. It really likes you.
I know.
But that's it. And we're detoxing the 4
Yes.
hours. So we're trying to kind of pre-prepare our body.
I've been doing a 10-day shred with Susan.
Oh.
And pretty
How's it
much,
coming along?
it's going well.
She's doing
I'm doing, well, I'm disciplined when it comes to, but I had to give up my alcohol for 10 days. That I'm not happy about. Well, it's a toss-up between alcohol and caffeine, so I decided to choose the caffeine because in the morning I need that kick. In the evening I just have
Yeah,
to
I would have done the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, get rid of the alcohol.
get
but
over the
I
alcohol.
need some
let me have-
caffeine,
have
my
that
coffee.
caffeine. Exactly. So it's not bad. You can read what it is, right? If you want to finish.
Sure. Actually, that's it. You're eating more real food. Of course, we have the
Thanksgiving
shakes
is real
and-
food.
Oh, yeah.
Thanksgiving is real food.
You take some vegetables, things like that. You're drinking plenty of water. You are attempting to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I'm still struggling with that. You do some sort of movement, some sort of exercise, some sort of something as many days a week as you can, at least 4 days, to try to get your blood moving. But you're eliminating gluten, dairy, alcohol, caffeine, and processed food and artificial sugars.
Absolutely.
That just kind of cleanses your body so that when you're having plate number 1, you won't feel like having plates number 2 and 3 because plate number 1 was so
But
satisfying.
you will pack up 2 and 3.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
to eat a little later. So you're trying to get your body accustomed to doing what what you were born to do, the way that children eat. They eat to their full, they stop, they get satisfied, and we're trying to get back
Well,
into
eat to
that.
satisfaction, not to full.
Exactly,
Right.
and usually they're full though, because most babies,
Yeah.
they're like,
Like Daydream said, just go back to basics. It's
Absolutely.
not rocket science.
So she can still have her plates if she spreads them out.
That's
Right.
what I said. Eat one
Right.
and then pack the other
Yeah.
2 up. At least
I
you
shouldn't have
spread
those-
those calories
So I
out.
shouldn't do those 3 plates in that 1 hour.
oh no.
Could you really
So
do that?
sick.
Could you really do that? She gave me a look like, oh, did you really? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
you'll be
And remember this, that as hard as your body will work, many times we have a funeral director who we work with, and he tells us that when you're putting all the preservatives in your body, then he doesn't have to do a lot of embalming.
Oh, wow.
The more naturally you eat, the better you eat, the more embalming he has to do because you're not packed full of all those preservatives and those additives and all of that other stuff.
Wow, I didn't even
That's
think
scary.
about
I know,
that.
right?
Because your body has to work very hard to rid itself of that. So keep that in mind. Just a
Wow.
little something. Just a little something.
I'm still reeling over that statement. Just the fact that.
I never thought
I
about,
never
okay,
thought
well, what
about it.
happens with
Yeah.
the way we're eating and then all the junk we're putting in our
So
food?
they'll
What
charge
happens
you
when
more
I-
and say, well, since your loved one was a healthy eater, we needed additional embalming fluid.
Okay.
So that'll be an additional $500.
And they will go there, because
Yeah.
especially at that time.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
But Susan, thank you for
you.
enlightening us
Hope
as to
you
how
see
to eat properly.
Wow.
And so, so on our way out, I guess we will basically just say again, Facebook is your call, it's your choice. It's something that we can't stop you from doing. It can't even suggest that you stop doing it, but it is something that you should try to regulate, set boundaries for, and and try living less of your life on Facebook and having a better life for yourself, not
Yeah,
just for
actually,
your fans or whatever.
live.
Actually
Live. Don't
live.
live on
Right,
Facebook.
live on
Live.
Facebook.
Enjoy. You know, we got clear blue. Well, not clear blue skies, but chemtrail filled blue skies.
You saw that, right?
Yes, I did see
I
that.
sent you guys a text earlier.
About the clouds.
Did they
Was
look
it-
funny to you? It was a cluster of clouds, just in
Yeah,
one
just
area.
that one little cluster, and that was it. And there's nothing else.
Nothing
anywhere
else in the
else.
sky. Nothing.
But
Absolutely. But anyway, on that note, we ask that you be safe all week. And is there anything else?
really quickly,
Yeah.
just a quick PSA. Stone Soup, which is downstairs. It's a food pantry, food bank. We've talked about them before, and we just want to remind people that they are available for anybody. It's Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. that they have food. So anyone is welcome to come. And if you have a neighbor or if you know someone who could use some assistance, maybe they're not able to come, or provide them a ride. There's a food pantry
take them
available
food.
here, right here at the studio, just downstairs on the first floor at 6260 West Park, right here in Southwest Houston, right off 59 in West Park.
Okay. And on that note, guys, be safe. We love you, and we will talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week.
Thank you to all of our sponsors and listeners. Check out our website at www.allaboutyoushow.com. That's all about you, the letter U, show.com. Join our live feed on our Facebook page, OMG and Friends.